Okay, dear students, today class is Kautilya administration. Its mean of Kautilya administration, it is a Arthashastra. In the Mauryan period, the Kautilya was given the importance of administration for the Mauryan administrator. The founder of the Mauryan administration is the Chandragupta Maurya. In that Mauryan administration, the Kautilya is the Prime Minister of the Mauryan administration. So because of the Maurya is given the Arthashastra, it is the very important book in the world-wise, and the Indian nation was follow the Arthashastra administration activities. So the Arthashastra is the title of a monograph written How to Run an Empire, written by Kautilya, popularly called as a Chanakya. His name is other name is a Chanakya, Kautilya, as well as called a Chanakya. In 350 to 275 BCE, an Indian statesman and philosopher, chief advisor and prime minister of the Indian emperor Chandragupta, who is the first ruler of the Mauryan Empire. The Arthashastra is a Sanskrit word which is referred to as the science of material gain. In other translation, it is referred to as a science of politics or science of political economy. This book was lost from many centuries, but a copy of it which was written on a palm leaves was rediscovered in India in 1904 CE. This edition actually belongs to approximately 250 CE, many centuries after the time of Kautilya, but it covers Kautilya's main ideas. The manuscript of ideas. The manuscript of ideas expressed by Kautilya in this treatise are practical and are not sentimental. He explored about controversial topics like assassination, decision regarding punishing the family members, how to manage secret agents when it is useful to violate treaties, and when to spy on ministers. Due to this, Kautilya is a mostly compared to the Italian writer named Machiavelli. The Machiavelli, who is the author of the Prince and was also called as the Indian Machiavelli's Indian Machiavelli. It is to mention that Kautilya's writing is not consistently without principles, but also writes about the moral duty of the king. He mainly states the duty of a ruler is the happinesses and welfare of the people is the happinesses and welfare of the king. His own pleasure is not I good, but the pleasure of his good, but the pleasure of his people is his good. Objects of the studies of the Kautilya's: to know the king's ruler, the rules and duties in governing the people, to study the ethical rules to be followed by the ruler of the government mentioned in Kautilya's Arthashastra, Review of literature, the Arthashastra mentioned a list of several components of the state: the king, the minister, population, geography, natural resources, treasury, army, and allies. Kautilya explained these components and importance of strengthening these elements in one's kingdom and weakening them in the enemy's states by using spies and sector agents. Kautilya was a pioneer in diplomacy and government administration. His thoughts was not only on coming up with practical advice for government, but also in providing his theories in a systematic and logical way. He says that the best king referred to the Raja Rishi, the sage king. According to him, the Raja Rishi has a self-control, learns continuously and cultivates his thoughts, avoid false and flattering advisors, and always associate with the true and accomplished elders, promotes the security and welfare of his people, enriches and empowers his people, practice practices Haimasa, lives a simple life and avoids harmful people or activities. In Kautilya's views, the enemies of a king are his lust, anger, greed, conceit, arrogancy, and full ordinances, not others. Kautilya quotes government as in the absence of governance, the strong will swallow the weak. In the presence of governance, the weak resists the strong. A person should not be too honest. Straight dress are cut first, and honest people are screwed first. Chanakya. The Chanakya, book 1 and 2 of the monography, discussed how the prince should be trained and after becoming the king should continue learning, select his key ministers, officials, administration, stopping of the court personnel, magistrates, and judges, maintain a council and a Purohit rituals guide. For his personal counsels, education is the best friend. An educated person is respected everywhere. Education beats the beauty and the youth. Chanakya. Book 3 is decided to civil law, economic relations of employer and employee, partnership, sellers and buyers. The biggest guru mantra is never share your secrets with anybody. It destroyed you. Chanakya book 4 focus on criminal law, where the king or officials acting on his belief take the initiative and start the judicial process against acts of crime. A man is great by deeds, not by birth. Chanakya Kautilya's Arthashastra describes a bureaucratic welfare state, though some kind of socialized monarchy. The central government administrators, the details of the economy, research methodology, secondary data, articles published in various journals, reports of the researchers on Arthashastra, books written on Arthashastra by authors, and translations of the book itself. Research is conducted with the help of secondary data. Secondary data was collected from various articles, journals, papers, and websites. Economic ideas of Kautilya in Arthashastra, the essential of Kautilya economic treatise Arthashastra is to maintain a balance between state management and people's welfare. Kautilya was a great scholar. He defined economics as the most important aspects as it provides the basis for human existence and survival. He played a vital role in the formation of a Maurya dynasty. Kautilya's guidance helped empire to attain growth with stability with strong administration and efficient fiscal management. Kautilya's views on taxation. Kautilya also kind that heavy taxation should be avoided. If tax rates are high, public will not be willing to pay the tax and find out the ways of tax evasion. Low rate of taxation will yield more revenue to the state. Kautilya's views on infrastructure. Kautilya considered infrastructure as one of the factors for the state development. Infrastructure is also important for importing commercial and trade activities. He suggests that state should invest in construction, infrastructure, specialty roads so that foreign trade and commercial activities can be increased and so that states revenue roads would be helpful in opening up new markets for both domestic and imported products. Public administration, Kautilya Arthashastra, Kautilya book gives a detailed delay schedule that how a ruler should organize his works according to his views. The duties of a ruler should be organized as follows. First 90 minutes after sunrise, the ruler should analyze the different reports regarding the revenue, military, etc. Second 90 minutes, time for public disputes and problems. Third 90 minutes, breakfast and some personal time. Fourth 90 minutes, meeting with ministers. Fifth 90 minutes for correspondences. Sixth 90 minutes for lunch. There is a brief description of a exhausting schedule wherein the king has rolled for and off hour of sleep and the rest of the time is entirely invalued in running the kingdom and thinking of welfare of his people. Conclusion: the Kautilya's Arthashastra provides valuable basis for economic. Even today, the Arthashastra is the number one classic of diplomacy in Indian and one of the most complete work of antiquity by Kautilya's ideas and thoughts. Kautilya states that Arthashastra is a serious manual on statecraft, on how to run a state, informed by a higher purpose, clear and precise in its prescription, the result of a practical experience of a running a state. It is not just a normative text but a realist description of the art of running a state. The world we face today is quite natural to the world that Kautilya operated in the policies of the government mentioned in Arthashastra clearly indicate that the ruler of the kingdom or the country should follow the duties assigned to him without fail for the welfare of the people. References um, Pradeep Kumar Gautam, Kautilya, Ardhashastra, contemporary issues and comparison, but Manipan and M. Das, corporate social responsibility, a philosophical approaches from an ancient Indian perspective, and the Wikipedia of the Ardhashastra Ancient History Encyclopedia. It is the very important for the administration activities of the Kautilya's administration. That books are to give the reference and exposing all the importance, ideas and administration activities of the Kautilya. Kautilya's ideas on governance. According to Kautilya, to ensure good governance, there must be a properly guided public administration where the ruler should surrender his likes and dislikes in the interest of his subjects and the personal running. The government should be responsive and responsible. He states that in the happinesses of his subjects lies the king's happinesses in their welfare, lays his welfare he shall not consider as a good as only that which pleasure him, but treat as a beneficial to him whatever pleasure his subjects. This view of Kautilya's displays is emphasis on a good governance. A good governance. Kautilya further emphasized that for citizen friendly good governance there should be uniformity in the administrative practices as well as competent ministers and officials possessing qualities of leadership, accountability, intellect, energy, good moral conduct, and physical fitnesses capable of a king promote decisions. A ruler who administers justice on the basis of four principles: righteousness, evidence, history of the case, and the prevalent law shall conquer the earth according to him. There is a stability if rulers are responsive, responsible, accountable, removable, and recallable. Otherwise, there would be instability. For good governance, all administrators, including the king, were considered servants of the people. They were paid for the services rendered and not for their ownership of anything. View on corruption. His views on corruption in public services were remarkable, realist, and underlines his emphasis on a practice rather than theory. According to him, corruption can be difficult to avoid, as a Kautilya said that it is impossible to tell that just as fish moving under water cannot be possible be found either as drinking or not drinking water. He recommends strictest punishment, both materials and corporeal, as a disincentive in cheat. Kautilya was well versed with the characteristics of bureaucrats and statesmen and laid down rules to prevent misuse of power. He emphasized the importance of accounting methods in economic enterprises to properly measure economic performance. Relevance of his ideas in present Indian society. Good governance and stability are even more applicable in the present democratic system. These values remain relevant in present context as accountability, responsibility of government towards citizens is paramount in parliamentary system of a democracy adopted by Indian social welfare is the main local point main focal point of Kautilya's economics notions. The state was required to help the poor and helpless and to be proactive in contributing to the welfare of its citizens. In India, the emphasis on marginalized is important as from 1990s economics reforms, inequalities of income are increasing in India. It emphasizes on ethical standards for public servants and king remains still relevant. Example, second ARC suggested code of ethics for civil servants as well as political executives. Kautilya's ideas on corruption are still relevant in modern day India as corruption in public life. Remaining big problems, India is ranked 78 out of 180 countries in global corruption index by Transparency International. Issues of corruption in public services, electoral funding, chronism, etc., are widely debated in India. Conclusions. The Ardhashastra provides broad coverage on the overall economy, which includes infrastructure, road work, irrigation, forestry, and fortifications, weights and measurements, labor and employment, commerce and trade, commodities and agriculture, land use and property loss, money and coinage, interest rates and loans, markets, traffics and taxes, etc. It is much significance to modern time and can be useful to exemplify several contemporary economics thoughts. The Indian administration traces its earliest known from to the tribal system, which later emerges as a monarchical system. We gain a lot of knowledge about ancient Indian administration from ancient religious and political treatises. In the early Vedic period, there were many tribes who elected their own chiefs and the handled all their responsibilities and the administration of the tribes and the Sabha, assembly of elders, and Samiti, assembly of people. Where the tribal assemblies, the chief protected the chief protected that tribe but had no revenue system or old overland. Thus wars were restored to the to and the booty shared among tribes. The first form of the state in India can be traced back to the times of Manu. The original name Satyavarta, the first king and progenitor of mankind, according to Hinduism, people were fed up with anarchy as there was no neutral judge arbitrators in between to solve issues of society. And so they appointed Manu as king and paid services fees as taxes for looking after them and ensuring mutual benefit and justice to everyone in society, owing to his wisdom and philosophical attitude, and the king was divine and regarded as descended from God. As for the Ramayana and Mahabharata, later Vedic times, it goes to portrayed the role of the king as the whole and also of administration, being helped by his principal officers who are the Purohit and Senani, where the Purohit priest wielded much more authority than the Kshatriya, varied clan king. Other figures of administration were treasurer, steward, setward, pies, and messengers. Charity superintendent of diocese. This is also mentioned in the manuscript and Shukraniti. No legal institutions were there, and the customs of the country prevailed as the law, and capital punishment was not practiced, but trial took place where justice was delivered by the king in consultancy with the priest and elders at times. By the time Kautilya wrote the Ardhashastra, the Indian administrative system was well developed, and the treatise of Kautilya gives a very first detailed account of the same. Well, we will discuss the below. Read more on brainly in SSW. The work of the administration, the Kautilya Ardhashastra will give the importance of the administration activities in the country of Indian administration. So, the Indian administration, depending upon the Ardhashastra activities, the Mauryan administration. The Mauryan administration has to give the general administration development in the country. So, in the BC 321, the Mauryan established a vast empire in country. They had also established systematic administration at different level. In fact, the Mauryan system of administration marked the beginning of Indian administrative system. The main source of infrastructure about the administrative system established by the Mauryan king is the most famous book Ardhashastra written by Kautilya. There is a detailed description about the entire administrative system of Mauryan period. In Ardhashastra, the important features of Mauryan administrative system can be described the following manner. Mauryan Empire was vast and extensive, and for the first time, theory and practice of a Hindu polity were combined together in the real sense of the term. The empire, which was established by Chandragupta Maurya, decayed after Ashoka, a pivotal point of administration throughout the empire remained village autonomy and decentralization of the authority. Religious toleration continued to be the state policy. Monarchy was the only acceptable from the government during those days, and the position of the monarch was considered very valuable. Empire was divided into various provisions and divisions, technically known as mandals, which were further subdivided into janapada and villages. The administrative on the work was the follows, and as on the appropriation, even critics of a Hindu polity, the Hindu polity will give the administration activities in the Indian administration level. The Mauryan administration is the central administration, and also it is in the state administration. So there is the central administration, the king and his council of ministers. The central government was the function of head of the whole administration. It controlled all provincial government in the council of ministers. Mantri Parishad, Purohit occupied a very prominent place and positions in addition. Positions in addition. So, in addition to Council of Ministers, there was also a inner cabinet of 3 to 5 ministers who also enjoyed a position of prestige and honor. Administrative systems at central level, there was a systematic and extensive administrative machinery to run the affairs of the country and to different levels during the Mauryan period. There was an elaborate administrative system to look after the administration at the central level. The work of the central government was divided into various departments. There was very efficient staff to run these departments. The central government used to have several powers to central administration at the regional and local levels. Hence, it was very powerful. It functioned under the central of king, central of the king. Superintendents of a department of the central government. In the central government, there were departmental superintendents who looked after the administration of their respective departments. Some such departments. So, the central administration privileges to the provincial administration. The king was fully well aware that it was difficult to rule over the whole empire from one center. According to the empire was divided into 4 provinces. Each province was headed by a provisional government who usually was of the royal blood. He implemented plans and proposals of the king and enjoyed considerable autonomy. He also and had his own Mantri Parishad, which was usually to be consulted before arriving at a decisions. The Mauryan Empire was divided into 4 regions, the or states. 4 regions are the states. Each state or region is ruled by a representative of the king. The king states were further divided into Janapada and Mahajanapada. Most eminent persons were appointed to rule these units. The king's representatives ruled their respective states with the help of ministers who were very efficient in different field of administration. There were also efficient civil servants to carry out different administrative activities, including collecting of taxes, settlement of disputes, collection of various statics, maintenance of law and order, and so on. There was also a special category of official known as a Dharma Mahamantras during this period, who were appointed to tour the country to know the problems of the people and to receive complaint from them and inform them to the king of necessary action. So the preservation of formal value among the people was also the important duty of these difficulties. Local government, the system of a local government existed during Mauryan period was highly systematic. There were two there were two types of local bodies during these days: urban local bodies and second one rural local bodies. The urban local bodies were consisted to look after the needs of the people living in the towns and cities. Each urban local body was placed under the control of an officer of known as a Nagarika. Each town city was divided into various zones and units. Each unit was placed under an officer called as Gupta. The Gupta discharged several functions for meeting various needs of the people living in their areas. There were several villages during the Mauryan period. Each village consisted 100 to 500 families. The head of the each village was called as the Gramika, Gramaswami. There was a committee in each village consisted of a Gramika and elders, which used to be responsible for the efforts of the village. It used to look after the law and order, welfare of the people, land, other properties of the people, settlements of disputes, and so on in the villages. Revenue expenditures. The government during those days used to spend most of its income on the execution of various works for the welfare of the people and also on the payment of the salaries to the public officials. The government used to undertake the construction and maintenance of rest house, roads, wells, hospitals, irrigation project, etc. For the people of it used to spend 1/3 of its income on these welfare activities. Further, the government also used to spend use amount for the maintenance of army for the protection of a country. Judicial administration. King understand the need to necessary of a chief and promote justice. It was believed that a king who failed to give justice had no right to rule. King was a pin counter of appeal and yet not above laws. In the provisions, provincial governors looked after justice. There were separate counter for the administration of a civil and criminal courts in the villages. Headman or Gramika was responsible for the giving justice. Judges were appointed by the king from among those who processed stainly qualities. Trial was on the post, and judges were supposed to be impartial witnesses occupied as significant positions in the administration of justice. Only respected adaptable and physical fit persons were supposed to be brought as witnesses. In addition to witnesses, a judge was supposed to use his uh, spies for knowing the truth. Village administration. Gramika was the chief functionary in the village. He was responsible for taking all initiatives and negotiated with the central government for village welfare. Gopa was the state employees posted in the village. There was also a system of grouping villages for collective development. There were trade guides for industrial development in the village. Trade and industry was allowed to flourish and in fact encourages. Revenue administration. Revenue administration, agriculture is the main occupation of the people during the Mauryan period. Hence, land revenue was the main source of income to the government. Further, there were several art- artisans like weavers, potters, and blacksmiths, etc., and also traders and merchants living in the villages and town. The government imposed taxes on those people. However, the land revenue constituted as the primary source of income to the government. The government established systematic machinery to lay and collect land revenue from the uh, farmers living in various villages. The country was divided into various units for the purpose of revenue administration. Each Janapada was divided into various systems: district level, Drona Mukha, divisional level, Karvat, Karvatakam, Mandal, Taluk level, and Sagruham at village level for the purpose of revenue administration. The village was the primary unit for the revenue administration. The Gopa was the head of the revenue administration at the village level. He used to discharge several functions relating to revenue administration, such as collection of income, particularly of each family, maintenance of record relating to land possessions and collection of land revenue, registration of birth and death, and so on. He functioned under the control of Sthanika, who was the head of Drona Mukha. Spice system. Spice system. There was a elaborate and systematic spice system existed during the Mauryan period. The spice used to play a very important and active role in the administration. They used to function under the guise of students, traders, sages, and so on. They also used to tour the entire country for collection of facts. The kings used to know about the conditions existed in different parts of their kingdom through this spice, which was used for taking decision and running the administration. So all these are the developed by the Kautilya. The Kautilya Arthashastra is informed to all the research methodology of the administration activities in the organization level of the Kautilya's administration. So these are the important subject for the students. It is coming under the civil services, and if you are become a good ruler in India, it is very utilizing for yours. Thank you, students.